Hello everyone, my name is Prince Saraf and I am hereby to introduce you with the history of physics and what is physics and the categories, branches in the subject of physics. Now, what is physics? Physics is the scientific study, it's the scientific study of laws of nature. It's the scientific study of laws of nature, or it's the scientific study of the laws governing the whole cosmos or the universe. This is physics. Now, physics is divided into three branches. Uh, More intuitively, it can be, uh, I would say, it is divided into two branches. First of all, it's the Newtonian physics, that means classical physics, and another is modern physics. Physics is divided into two parts. One is classical physics, classical physics, and another is modern physics. And now, classical physics, as we know, is the physics discovered by Galileo Galilei and Sir Isaac Newton and many more physicists in this time. But modern physics is the physics which was discovered in the starting of 20th century. What are the branches of modern physics? Modern physics are divided into two parts. One is quantum mechanics. First is quantum mechanics, and another is relativity. Relativity was discovered by Albert Einstein, and quantum mechanics was discovered by first it was introduced by Max Planck and many physicists like Albert Einstein, also Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg, and Erwin Schrödinger, Paul Dirac. Many physicists introduced and developed quantum mechanics in 1920s. But relativity was discovered by Albert Einstein as two theories. First is special theory. First is special, and second is general theory of relativity, or the theory of general relativity. A special theory of relativity was introduced by Einstein in 1905, and the general relativity was discovered by Einstein in 1915, 10 years later. And now, quantum mechanics was first formulated by Werner Heisenberg in 1925 as matrix mechanics. He used the mathematics of matrices to formulate quantum mechanics. Now let's come into classical mechanics. What is classical mechanics? Classical mechanics is the um, classical physics also. The classical mechanics can be also expressed as classical physics, and the quantum mechanics can also be expressed as quantum physics. Now, what is classical physics? It was the theory of physics the intuitive logical theory of nature, which was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. Most importantly, it is the theory of nature based on Sir Isaac Newton's laws of motion and gravity. This is the theory. This is the theory of nature based on Newton's Newton's laws of motion and gravity. So this is what classical mechanics is all about. Now, Newton's laws of motion are three. There are three laws of motion discovered by Isaac Newton, and it was published in his famous book, famous treatise, like whose name is Principia Mathematica, Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. It was Latin for Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy. It was published in um, 1687, and in this treatise, Newton published his laws of motion and law of gravity, and the main equation in which the Newton's law of motion is based on is Newton's law of motion is based upon F equals ma, which is the second law of motion. This is the second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion. Here F is force of a body, and m is the mass of that body, and acceleration is expressed by a of that body. Okay, F equals ma, it is the flagship equation not only for Newton's laws of motion but also for classical physics. It is the flagship equation of classical mechanics. Just like that, quantum mechanics has its own flagship equation, Schrodinger wave equation, discovered by Erwin Schrodinger. And just like that, it has also a flagship equation parallel to Schrodinger's equation. It was discovered by Werner Heisenberg. Heisenberg equation of motion. Heisenberg equation of motion is just like Schrodinger's equation. Now relativity has its own flagship equation, and that is Einstein's field equation, which is in general theory of relativity. It was derived by Albert Einstein in 1915, 25th of November 1915. So all of these theories which is written here, classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, and relativity, has its own flagship equation.